These are uncertain times for the country's nearly 3 million federal workers. John F. Kennedy once called public service a proud and lively career. A new book of essays, edited by best-selling author Michael Lewis, reminds us why and highlights the essential, often behind-the-scenes work federal employees accomplish. It's called Who is Government? And Michael Lewis joins us for tonight's interview. I should note also, of course, Michael, you write two accounts of federal employees yourself in the book. You're not just an editor.
Exactly.
Where did the idea... People are talking about federal government all the time now because it's under such assault. But for you, the idea came long before this Trump administration.
It goes back a ways. It was the first Trump administration. And right after he was elected, Donald Trump fired the 550 people who were on his transition team, who were meant to go in and receive briefings from the Obama administration about how this thing worked, this 2.3 million person federal workforce. And he turned to Chris Christie and said, he said, we're smart enough that we can figure out how the federal government works in an hour. And as a result, there was no one there to be explained to about like how the nuclear arsenal is maintained, that kind of thing. So I went in looking at like, what is the government? Like, what are they ignoring? And after a while doing that, and I wrote a book about it called The Fifth Risk, it became clear that as interesting as that was, the people were even more interesting. Like, I was shocked by the quality of the federal workforce. It was not, you have this stereotype in your head of government employee, 9 to 5, showing up, but doesn't care all that much. The opposite, like expert, mission-driven, could make a lot more money in the private sector, doing stuff. Like the problems they were addressing, existential problems, huge problems, and the problems that the private sector wouldn't deal with. So this just got me, I couldn't get them out of my mind. The material was that good.
You love a good story. Why are they not expert at telling their story? Or why do they have the rap? Why do civil servants, federal employees have the rap that they do?
Well, they deserve it. In first place, it's characterological. The kind of person who goes to work in the government is not a self-promoting person. Like, if you want attention, if you want fame and fortune, it's not where you go. And in fact, we have a culture now in this country for quite a long time that if you receive attention in the federal government, it's usually because you're being hauled before Congress and it's not good. So they've gotten used to hiding. There is an army of political people between you, us, and them, communications people whose job is mainly to make sure that no bad story gets told. So to even get to them is a problem, I think. And the third is, like, it's related to that. The politicians hog the limelight. I think most Americans think, when they think of government, they think of politics. Yeah. And there's this whole other thing that's going on. Actually, who is cleaning up nuclear waste sites? Who's preventing coal mine roofs from falling in on the heads of coal miners? There are a million little things that are going on there that need to go on for us to live a decent life.
Final question, Michael. If you had the job of going in to make government more efficient, if you essentially were doing what DOJ did, but knowing what you know, having done this, how would you have gone about it?
Very differently. Like that. I mean, so you go to people who actually know these departments, and you'd say, you tell me what you need to make it, you tell me what you'd like to cut, tell me where you need resources. A lot of the inefficiency is just we haven't invested in it. Mm-hmm. So it isn't a matter of just cutting the heads, cutting the head count. That's not the bright way to go about it. And I'd give the instructions to the heads of the department. Give me a list of how you want to fix this place, like what you think needs to be fixed. And secondly, this is really important. Tell me how you're going to attract young people to want to work here. Because if you're doing your job well in these places, young people will come. They used to come. Yeah. They're not coming anymore. So if we can figure out how to attract young people, we fixed it, I think.